That's what you get for making so many badass, entertaining movies.
Thanks.
So we know why you're here. You got in some trouble with the police. And when I heard about it, I said, you know, I've known this guy a long time. We agree sometimes, we don't agree. But what happened to him so reminded me of what happened to me after 9/11. Mm-hmm. People got upset with what I said, which is okay, but then they lied about it. In my case, they lied and they said, well, he was denigrating the military, which I never was. And in your case, what the murderers, and the lie is that you think all cops are murderers, and that's, so go ahead, defend yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, these unions that are coming out there, Patrick Lynch and everybody, you know, if they were saying what I said and they had a problem with murderers, and I wasn't, but the thing that's really sad about it is we actually do.
They're not intimidating.
No,
they can be very intimidating. I mean, they can pull you over.
Yeah, it was in my 20s and broke. I was a little scared of the cops, all right? And oftentimes you had warrants out on me for traffic stuff that I never took care of and everything. And
Jackie Brown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but I deal with that in Jackie Brown, and I knew what I was talking about then. And, you know, and what would literally happen, I would have, like I said, traffic crap and whatever, and then I'd have, like, $1,500 warrants on me, and I make $10,000 a year, so I'd get, but, you know, since the last...
You were really not successful.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I
never realized how much of a loser you were.
Oh, yeah, no, in my 20s, I only worked for minimum wage, and if you only work for minimum wage, you make $10,000 a year.
I had the same experience.
In a way that I haven't thought about in 20 years.
Right. So, a female police officer shot a guy, tased and shot a guy, and roll this.
Cars in the area of
It's horrible.
Oh my God.
It's so disturbing. I mean, the two shots you hear at the end are bullets. Before that, the sounds you hear are
But you actually even hear the guy say, he gets shot and goes, what the fuck?
Right. And you're going to steal that dialogue. But sir, murder is...
Of course not.
Of course not. But this one is. This is murder when they're being shot with 150 million watts of taser volts. So then she shoots him? What danger is this police officer in?
Well, you know, it's funny.
That's not brave.
I mean, look, okay, just use a crazy example, all right? Okay, in today's world, if you got into an altercation with a cop, and I'm not encouraging any kind of altercation with cops, obviously.